Wondering what's happening in the market in Everett. I mean, we've got like more than a 100% increase in days on market since last year. So going from 7 days to 15 days, that's like twice the amount of time. We've got increases in the median price, 2.7%, but totally falling back in the average price point by almost 8%, 7.9%. And you know what? Look, when people are listing things, they're listing them lower, all right? The other thing that's happening is, we're still in a seller's market. We're still in a seller's market. Inventory still remains low, like 0.8 months of inventory. If you want to learn more, stay tuned. Hey. It is me, Ashley with Keller Williams, Real Estate in Everett, and I am going to be doing a market update. So I've been really wanting to do one of these videos because, man, the market is just, it's different, okay? And, I'm excited. Yeah, I am excited. I'm excited, okay? And you know why I'm excited? Because I think we've gotten to a place that's good for buyers and good for sellers, okay? So if you're thinking about putting your home on the market, or you're thinking, hey, I want to buy a house, this is the video for you. Okay, so where to start? Let me just give you sort of like the overall description of what's happened in the market, okay? So, I think if you've been paying attention to real estate, you know that it has been crazy. And basically it was crazy, like a crazy seller's market all the way up until this past fall, right? So this past fall, like it was just like, boom, like things changed, okay? What was the reason for that? Well, a lot of people are like, well, I think buyers got tired. A lot of people think, well, rates were higher, and all these things were true. Like, could it be buyer fatigue? It could be. Could it just be like, maybe like an affordability ceiling? Like maybe we just hit this place where now, it's just too high. It's become unaffordable to buy a home. What are the couple of things I want to touch on? So I'm going to really focus in on the North Everett area, though the things that I'm going to talk about are happening in a lot of other areas. So in, southerly parts of Everett and into Seattle and into Linwood, all these different places. And actually I posted recently an article on my Facebook page about median home prices in Seattle, because they've changed a ton, okay? And, a little bit of what has happened is in Everett, of course there's a lot of great things happening here, but there's been a lot of pressure as far as housing from Seattle, because Seattle is just so expensive. So what's the first thing I'm gonna touch on? I'm gonna talk about absorption rate, okay? And maybe absorption rate is not what we would want to call it, but what we want to talk about is this a seller's market or a buyer's market, okay? And the answer to that is it kind of depends, okay? When you look at the statistics on it, right, the number is 0.8. Now, what that means is it's a reflection of the amount of inventory that's available, all right? And the statistic would indicate that we are in a seller's market. So for some context, 0.8 is where we are, all right? In a balanced market, the absorption rate is like 6 to 9 months, okay? That's a balanced market. Right now we're 0.8, that's like less than 1 month. That's still a hella seller's market, okay? But the interesting thing is there's certain inventory that's sort of sitting on the market, right? Like, there's just certain price points. It's like, certainly if you put a house on the market and you're at like 250, 275, 300, 315, 325, 350, even up to 375, almost 400,000 in Everett, the house is moving pretty quickly. Once you kind of exceed that, it's a little bit slower, okay? And so, it's a little bit of like, kind of like a tale of two markets. Like you sort of have low end, boom, super duper crazy seller's market, right? Because, to be honest, most houses that are at 200,000 or 100,000 in Everett are pretty much tear downs, okay? So, in order to get like a decent house that's like a starter home that maybe, just needs like a cosmetic fix, you're gonna be in the probably low threes, Okay, and that's, you know, we have a lot of old houses here, so, I mean, let me see how I can say this. So we have a lot of mixed inventory. So we have a lot of like sort of turn of the century, like really, really old houses, like 1900s. And then we have, you know, stuff that was built like in the 50s, 70s, you know, it's kind of mixed. But up here in historic Everett, there's quite a few. I mean, a lot of the inventory is like really old houses, okay? Which means they've got a lot of issues and things that need to be addressed. Okay, so in order for it to switch over to a buyer's market, I mean, we need to be at like more than 9 months of inventory, like 12 months of inventory. I mean, we're not even close to that right now, okay? We're way, way heavy into a seller's market. So what is that to say? What does that look like on the ground? So on the ground, what that looks like is sellers still have an advantage, right? Because in many cases, there's more buyers for any given property, especially if it's a really nice, highly desirable property in a really great area. And for buyers, because the market has slowed a little bit, you know, it's also good for you, right? I mean, in that sense, you know, you can perhaps do an inspection. I know, you know, there were times where, I mean, you had to like see the house and boom, you had to like make your offer immediately, otherwise you weren't going to get it. And, you know, I mean, right as I say that, I'm thinking about clients that I'm working with where we've made an offer the day the house went on the market and it was already gone. Okay, so, I mean, it's still a very strong seller's market. Okay, but there are opportunities. You know, there are opportunities for buyers and there are definitely opportunities for sellers. So, when I look at the statistics, I think if you've been thinking about selling your house or putting it on the market and you were waiting for, you know, like a high point, I think we've arrived. Okay, like, I mean, right now, when you look at the way the lines look, the graphic for appreciation, so the appreciation rate has slowed down. So it's not negative, but it's slowed down. Like the rate of appreciation has slowed down, and so we're kind of like hitting a plateau. You know what that means? That means, you know, we're right around like pretty much the high point. And you know, if you're sitting on a house that's in the 3s or maybe even low 4s, it would be good. It'd be a good time to get it on the market. It would be a good time to get it on the market, and let me tell you why. Because here, I'm going to read the statistic to you. In Everett, last year, the average sales price on a home was $387,541. This year, 1 year later, it has decreased by 8%. It's at $357,990. So, you know, I mean, if you have done any math, you might look at that statistic and say, well, actually, you know what? Come on. You know, the average is very sensitive to outliers, and an outlier would be like an extreme number. So, you know, maybe an explanation for that, like maybe the reason that that's happened is because more lower priced inventory is coming on the market, and maybe that lower priced inventory is skewing the statistic and pulling it down and causing the rate to be, you know, causing the average sale price to be lower. Now, you know what? I could get with that. Like I could say, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe that lower price inventory is coming on the market and causing that to happen. But then when we go over here and we take a look at the median, you can see, and that's normally a more stable indicator, because, yeah, I just said that appreciation has not gone backwards, right? It's not falling back, it's just slowing, okay? So we can go and look at the median sales price, and the median sales price last year was $352,360. And this year it's $362. So it's gone up a little bit. It's 2.7% it's increased. Okay. So it's good. I mean, this market is still a great market. And I think because we've kind of had a little bit of a slowdown, I think it's good for both sellers and buyers. Okay. It's good for both sellers and buyers. I mean, for different reasons. And you know, I think if you have somebody who is like out there watching the inventory, you can get a good deal. You can get a really good deal. And as a buyer, you can get a great deal because rates are, gosh, like the mortgage rates are low, right? And mortgage rates, I mean, they affect your bottom line, right? Because I mean, that's what the payment is. Like, you know, everybody's working to a payment, right? You want to know what the monthly payment's going to be. And when you've got places where you're paying rent of $2,200, $2,300, $2,400 a month, yeah. You could definitely buy something. Okay, you could definitely buy something. Okay, so how do I want to summarize it? I mean, like I said, good time for everybody. So that's all I have for my market update. The stats that I gave you, just so you know, are from May. June is almost over, so once that becomes available, I will be loading a video to talk about the June numbers. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna look like. I mean, I've just seen so many interesting things happening with the higher priced market. And yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be interesting to sort of see what those statistics are like. Anyway, that's my summary. Please like the video. If this is your first time to my channel, check out the videos. I have tons of videos. If you're looking to buy a house or sell a house, tons and tons of tips. So please do subscribe, and I will see you again soon, YouTube.